Hello, my name is Shamika. I'm going to be speaking with you today about the importance of representation and diversity in healthcare. How many of you have heard the term representation matters? Do you agree with that? I absolutely agree with that. I think it is so important for every race, every gender, every culture, every ethnicity, every background to be represented, not only in healthcare, but in the performing arts, education, the tech world, and the corporate world. So I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to start with showing you a video that I think accurately depicts why representation is important.
Brown Ariel. Brown Ariel is cute.
What?
She's black.
Oh my.
She's black.
She's black.
She's black. She's black. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my the black version. Ariel's a black girl. I like the black girl one. Are you kidding me? Ariel's black.
I know, right?
She's brown like me, Mom.
What, baby?
She's brown like me.
Yeah, she's brown like you.
Okay, so I think that video accurately depicts why representation is important. Those little girls were so excited to see someone who looks like them playing one of their favorite princesses. And I think that is so important, especially for the older ones who are going to be coming into their own scene. It gives them hope and it gives them the thought that, hey, if she can do it, then so can I. Maybe there are avenues for me. And I think that is so important. Okay, let's dive into healthcare and why diversity is important in healthcare. I think that it is impossible to fully serve your community if your full community is not being represented. Let's start with culture. There are many cultures where a woman cannot be touched by another man if she's married. So if there are few female doctors, then how can that culture be represented? I've had women from other cultures come up to me and say, is it possible that I can get a female doctor? Also, let's talk about African American men. They are going to be more likely to take orders from someone who looks like them, from another African American male, someone that they can relate to, which in turn will give them better health. Also, let's think about some of you females who are 19, 20 years old. If you want to see a gynecologist, how comfortable are you going to be talking about your sexual health with some 60, 65-year-old person who may remind you of your grandparents? Are you going to be comfortable doing that? I know I wouldn't. I would want someone younger and preferably a female. And the reason why I said it is because females feel some of the same things that we feel. So that when I'm describing my pain or my menstrual cycle to them, they will understand that because they go through those same things. Yes, the male doctors are educated, but they don't feel what we feel. So it'd be easier to relate to someone who can actually feel what we feel. I think that is so important. And going back to culture, if there's an emergency, language barriers can be very dangerous. Yes, we have translated phones and we have translators, but in an emergency, who has time to pick up a phone and call someone? Or who has time to wait for a translator to come? Having someone on hand that can understand and speak the same language as these patients can lead to much better outcomes. Right? And let's go to the disparities in healthcare. This article from the NIH is from February 18, 2021. As of that day, there were 2.4 million deaths, 490 of them in the United States. Look down here. Blacks and non-Hispanics account for 13% of the population, and yet they accounted for 17% of those 490 U.S. deaths. Also, the Hispanic and Latino community, they account for 17% of the U.S. population, for 13.8% of the deaths and 22% of the cases. Why do you think that is? So this is why it's important to understand that every culture, every background, every ethnicity needs to be represented in order to provide better health for the community. Thank you and have a good night.